Hello, guys. Welcome back to Aura Talks Football for the game week 13 preview for the Premier League season. What absolutely significant Premier League football, an absolute great man. Overall, we'll be delving into the Manchester City game as well, alongside with United's win at Guns Park, which will ever be their last time at Infos Proud. Obviously, we'll touch on Tottenham losing to Aston Villa. Obviously, Arsenal winning the late courtesy of Kai Havertz, of course, and so on. But without further ado, let me introduce my guests, starting with my fellow co-host, Manny. How you doing?
All good, all good, all good. I do apologize for the foggy nature of the stream. I mean, normally it happens when I turn the air conditioning on, but the air conditioning is off. I think it's fair to say that things are a little bit cold right now in my neck of the woods. So, I mean, the rain isn't really helping, but, you know, it is what it is. And as long as people can see the silhouette, I guess that's enough. But good to be on. I've been looking forward to coming on. And, yep, can't wait to talk some footy.
Oh, absolutely, and that's what we're going to go straight to tonight. Fortunately, Ores couldn't be here tonight due to family commitments, but it will be me hosting on this. So let's go back to our normal guests. So starting with Ollie. Ollie, regular guest of Ores Talks Football. How you doing, bro?
I'm good.
Good to hear. Good to hear. And also, let me introduce you to another guest from Ores Talks Football, Carl. Carl, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. How do you do?
Big up. And also, without further ado, our former guest of Ores Talks Football, Mason. Mason, bro, how you doing?
Hello, mate. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Do you know what, brother? It's been an absolute long time since you were on this channel, but it's an absolute pleasure to have you here.
I thought Chelsea getting battered, Tottenham losing. I thought I might as well come on and make an appearance, So,
Oh, absolutely. I mean, fortunately, right now we're still waiting for Hannah, but his Wi-Fi's down. He might be running late, so we'll definitely see him soon. But without further ado, let's start off with the first game: Manchester City versus Liverpool. Obviously, it was actually a stalemate between both sides. Starting with you, Ollie, what did you think of the game overall?
Yeah, I thought good game. Obviously, Haaland getting a goal, and then Trent getting one back. But overall, I was expecting a City win. I was a bit surprised about the result. But yeah, good game.
That's very true. And
Yeah.
do you know what the thing is from a Liverpool point of view? Do you think they're still in tight race?
Yeah, I think they still start it. Yeah.
Good points. Mason, going to you. What were your thoughts on this game? Do you think it was a very entertaining game despite being 1-1 draw?
To be honest, I actually only caught the highlights, and what I was really surprised about is that actually City didn't win. And I say that Liverpool are definitely contenders this year for the title. There's a lot more competitiveness about the Premier League this season than we obviously got last season, just us and City being a part of it. But what I will say with City, they've looked shaky at times this season. And if they carry on the way they're going, we could see a new Premier League champion. And it could end up being either, I don't want to jinx anything, but it could be Arsenal or Liverpool. Like this could happen. I think City ain't looking too much of themselves, but I'm just waiting for Pep to just make that undefeated run again. 10 games, 15 games when they go on that little run. It's just it will happen, and it's just about when and if someone else can stop them along that way.
That's true.
Yeah, big up Liverpool.
Yeah, absolute crucial point for Liverpool as well. So before when we actually move on to likes of Manny and also Cole, Mr. B, how you doing, mate?
Cheers, man. Yeah, I'm all right, RD. Right, thanks, you. It's nice to see you all, fellas. Are you all doing all right?
Yeah, we're all doing really good, thank you.
Yeah, cool.
But yes, let's move on to Manny as well. Manny, so obviously with this game, do you think it's a very intriguing game in regards to the title race, and do you think City will capitulate?
This game, Hardly, probably proves that the title will either be heading to the Etihad Stadium or back to Anfield, because what we saw here were two of the two best teams in the Premiership going head to head, and both teams actually giving it as good as they got, and nothing really separated them. And I think a draw would probably have been harsh on both teams. It was also one of those games, really, where some individual mistakes could prove perhaps costly, and all those fine margins will prove to be crucial in the end. And so I'm really sorry to be a bit of a killjoy, given that we've got a couple of Arsenal fans sitting with us in the studio, apart from myself. But if any of us are thinking that just because we are now top of the league and coming to Arsenal later on, that we now have a really good chance, let's forget that both of these teams have cancelled each other out, and we've still got to play Liverpool twice at Anfield at the Emirates. We've also got to play City at the Etihad, and we still have a lot to do in terms of being able to catch up with them in terms of quality. But it was in every way an end-to-end game, and Liverpool should come out of this the happier of the two. And I think after having an even more heartbreaking loss of the title to us, but one in which where they kept fighting until the very end, not too long ago, I think they can feel really, really proud of the way they've performed. And this season, I think they've been a team on a mission. As for City, people still say that they'll find a way to win, but I tell you what, there are some cracks in the Citizens' armor. So other teams might start looking at them and thinking, maybe we shouldn't be so afraid of them.
Absolutely. I mean, the things with City is as well that they've got so much vulnerabilities as well, considering injuries, fatigue, probably a lot lack of form, lack of consistency as well. I think ideally, if you look at it from a recruitment point of view, I think losing Ilkay Gundogan was really, really detrimental to their season and the development on the Pep Guardiola. So ultimately, if City want to actually become much more consistent and really, really progressive again, they need to actually evolve into a really great side. I think without a doubt, they're still fantastic. Whether that is like sort of Rodri, Bernardo Silva, who's actually without a doubt fantastic player, Erling Haaland, Jack Grealish, Foden. There are so many great players on the side. I've lost count on this, but they're still favourites for the title. So, Mr. B, let's go to you, mate. What are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, man, I actually thought I was a bit disappointed with the game, to be honest. I didn't think it was that great. I had 2-2 for the game, and I thought there'd be a load more goals in it, to be honest. But I don't know what happened. I didn't think, I didn't think it was that great a game. But it was interesting in a way. I found it interesting, but it wasn't exciting for me. So obviously I watched it. So I think the draw was just about right in the end. I think, to be honest, there.
So yeah, obviously, sorry about that. Sorry, mate, I had to do something, but
that's all right, man.
Obviously, with regards to title race, do you think City are still the favourites?
Probably. I'd make them just about still favourites. Yeah. I don't know who else can come up from out the other lot, out the chasing pack. I don't know. Maybe Liverpool could still get in there. I don't know. Maybe I don't know about obviously maybe Arsenal. I guess. What about you, United? Do you think you could have a shot at it or not? Really? Or...
No. Absolute nonsense. But never
You're
know.
not that far off, though, are you? Off top spot. You're not
6 points,
bad.
right? Yeah, 6 points
Man,
off you guys. Yeah.
You're not that far.
But obviously, with our injuries, that's gonna be the problem. That's gonna be the main problem.
Yeah, injuries have hit you guys. Same as Tottenham.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, if you look at Spurs as well, they're regretting that game, but that's true, Mason. Absolutely agree.
Anybody about Villa? What about anyone think about Villa? Do you think they could?
Villa are the dark horse.
Villa
I'd say Villa are definitely the dark horse.
Yeah.
Unai Emery seems to love being the underdog. I know he never worked out for Arsenal and it didn't work out. But from the perspective of what he done with like Villarreal and now coming to Villa. I think he's more of a manager for these sort of sides, you know, like the underdog side. I think he's thriving at Villa, to be honest with you, and he's making brilliant signings as well, to be fair. So I do think they are slightly the dark horse for this. You know, I reckon if we do get the 5th Champions League spot, I could see Villa just nipping in there. You know, I could see that happening.
That's really, really true. Let's go on to Carl now.
Yeah.
So, Carl, you still there? Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Manny, you go first. You go first then.
No, I was just going to say that I will actually talk a bit about Villa once we talk about their game. But Kyle, go ahead, mate.
The game for Man City versus Liverpool. Of course,
that's right.
I didn't watch the match live, but I watched highlight. From the highlights, I could see that City was denied a winning goal of 2-1. So I feel like City was robbed here.
That's really true. Obviously, with the ties for itself, do you think Liverpool will probably win? Oh, what's it? Yeah, Carl, I think you might have an issue with your actual connections. So if I were you, just come out of the background, come back, get our back. Let's move on to the next game, guys. Obviously, we'll be delving into Burnley versus West Ham. Really crucial game for the Hammers, and obviously that they sealed it in the actual Lazo's game. Burnley more so are actually regressing at the moment. I mean, if you look at the transition from the Championship to the Premier League, obviously with Vince Company, isn't tactically or technically adapting to the intensity of the Premier League. Go over to you, Mason first. What were your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, see, I've got a lot of friends who are West Ham fans, and let's just say last season they weren't happy with Moyes. This season they've been a little bit more optimistic of it. And the one thing I will say about West Ham, they're gonna have to go to these grounds like the Burnleys, like the Brightons, and try and get something. Even like the lower sides as well. I think Vincent Kompany's having an absolute mare at the moment at Burnley. He wants to play this, I think, like explosive football, passing and all that. But coming from the Championship to the Premier League, everyone knows it's a massive, massive jump. And I don't think his sides are going to hack it at the moment. I think they're one of my favourites to go down, as well as Luton. I think them two are looking more and more likely that they're going to go down. But with Burnley, I think Vincent needs to do something, because losing games at home, normally Turf Moor, I used to be scared of going Turf Moor, you know, and I don't think this season I'll be too scared going there, because they're not looking that great. And with West Ham, I thought they might end up a little bit worse off when they sold Rice to us. But to be fair to them, they've done really well, and they're getting the results. That's all what needed for them. It's not about how they're playing at this point of the season. It's just about getting those 3 points on the board, which a lot of teams need to do, which they're doing. And I think David Moyes underrated, in my opinion.
Absolutely, especially when they actually won the actual Conference League, which is actually really crucial to the last season as well. I think obviously with Moyes, he's such an underrated coach. I think next season
I'll get reminded of the European champions every single time I see my West Ham pals. They're always on about that. But the thing is with them, I do think possibly at the end of this season, depending where they are and what they're doing, I do think David Moyes is in question to go. And I can't lie, he'd be good somewhere else if need be. But I could see him maybe possibly going back to Everton if Big Sam? No, not Big Sam. What's his name? Who's at Everton at the moment? Is it Dyche?
Dyche.
Yeah,
Dyche.
Dyche. So Dyche, if he ends up leaving Everton, possibly, I could see Moyes going back in. That's only if they survive though.
Interesting prediction, obviously. I mean, if that were to be the case, that'd be really good for Moyes. Obviously, Manny, go back to the game itself. What are your thoughts on it from a tactical point of view? Do you think Burnley are actually in deep trouble from a relegation point of view?
I wouldn't necessarily say they're in trouble, Hardeep. I mean, I will say that this will be looked back on as a missed opportunity, because, you know, there was a part of me that believed that Burnley were due a win. I think if memory serves me right, I might have predicted that Burnley would beat West Ham because I just thought that this would have been a good time for West Ham to play West Ham, especially given the fact that the likes of Kudus and company might not have been at their best. But Burnley took the lead and were controlling the game for the most part. But then when you allow a team like West Ham to come back into the game, especially with the players that they've got, you are asking for trouble. And here's the thing about Burnley. I believe I mentioned this earlier in another stream on Oris Talks Football. The management have made it crystal clear that they want to show faith in company for the foreseeable future because of what he's trying to do in terms of bringing more and more youth into the picture and developing the team holistically. So even if they do go down, I think they are in some ways mentally prepared for that. I'm not saying that they shouldn't try to win any games at all, because obviously they should. I mean, they can't just, go through this campaign sleepwalking, as it were. But if as long as they are able to show some fight and just continue to try and fight as hard as they can, I do believe they will pick up a few wins eventually. They will be due one, as I've said, and it shouldn't be too far for them in the end. But I mean, we haven't even gotten into the middle of the season, but I know they will have to start working and try and they will have to start cracking, as they would say. And time isn't necessarily on their side, but they will find a way. I'm confident of it.
Good points, man. Good points. Ollie, moving on to you. What were your thoughts on this game? Do you think Burnley a big trouble?
Yeah, good result for West Ham. Obviously, they left it a bit late though. Obviously, Burnley were winning for a while, and then West Ham came back late. Got 86 minutes for own goal, and then Suchek scored. But yeah, overall good win for West Ham. I think I predicted a 3-0 in this game, but I wasn't expecting it to be this close.
That's very true. I actually predicted a 2-0 West Ham win, but it was actually quite close to the margin, obviously. And I think from a tactical point of view, there are some positives for Burnley, but they need to be consistent on pitch, and their words keep company. He has to adapt without a doubt. Mr. B, how about yourself? What were your views on this game, in your opinion?
Yeah, well, like you are, Deep, I had 2-0 West Ham, to be honest. I thought they'd win it more comfortably than that, but I actually thought Burnley might have won that, I thought they'd 1-0 up. I thought, well, can they actually get another win, That'd be amazing. But no, I think West Ham showed their quality in the end, overall quality and what else they could produce. So they probably pretty much deserved it, I guess, in the end. So
That's very true. And do you think Burnley are in big trouble from a relegation standpoint?
Possibly. I mean, they are down there. I think they're certainly one of the teams that come up, I think, that are going to struggle. Unlike Luton, I definitely think Luton are staying up. But I think Burnley are going to struggle, as are Sheffield United. So, they could be down there near the end of the season, I think.
I absolutely agree with you as well. Carl, let's move on to you, mate. So, obviously, what were your thoughts on this game? Do you think Burnley in trouble, and do you think it's positive?
My thoughts of this game is it went the way I wanted it to go, the West Ham way. But also, my question is, how will West Ham cope next season with David Moyes leaving the club at the end of this season?
That's a really interesting question as well. I mean, if you look at Moyes as well, given the fact that he won the trophy recently, if you want to replace a caliber manager, it's going to be really tough. I think with West Ham, if they're going to implement philosophy, they have to find someone as good as Moyes. But that's a really good question, guys. Obviously, let's go back to you. Sorry, Mason. Do you think it will be very tough to actually replace David Moyes from a tactical point of view, given the fact that he's built a great philosophy of the club?
Yes, I do. I think West Ham fans will regret if they try and force David Moyes out of the club. I really do believe that, because what he's built, not just a trophy, but more or less what he's trying to build at that club. Losing Rice must have hurt these West Ham. It must definitely hurt the West Ham fans. That's not all we've heard about. But like what Moyes has done, bringing in other these like Wood-Prowse, it's just an unbelievable signing, and he's getting these players to gel together. If he gets sacked at the end of this season because of like results and that ain't going his way, then I do feel that the next manager then has to do it all again. He'll have his way of playing, and I just think why I know managers do get sacked real quick in the Premier League. I understand that, but people have got to respect that. Yes, he didn't have the great Premier League season that he wanted last, but then they won a trophy at the end of it, so they had that. And then from this season, they've got off to an okay start. They're getting results, and some results are going their way, which they've got to stick with him. They have to. In my opinion, if West Ham fans and the West Ham board do get rid of Moyes, I think the next person, it's going to then take him a couple of years. But now you just end up getting rid of managers non-stop and going through that process again and again. But you never know.
As people have said, be careful what you wish for because you just might get it. Hey, Mason?
Indeed. I might just be speaking because of bias. Wenger stayed here a while. Now Mikel's staying here a while, you know. And I didn't like the change in between with Unai Emery thing. I didn't like that, you know. But now we've got our man and we're sticking by him, and it's good. I like to see it, and hopefully Moyes and West Ham will stick by each other as well.
Hopefully, mate. So yes, going back to you, Manny. So obviously, with the future of Moyes, do you think it'll be really tough to replace him from a philosophy point?
It will be, and I wouldn't even go for the philosophy thing because let's also not. I think Mason might have touched on it when he said that the Declan Rice loss was always going to be difficult in itself, and how he's been able to make the most of that by spending wisely and getting some players who ironically would have suited Arsenal's system magnificently. Mason has said it perfectly, and I echo those words once again. You've got to be careful what you wish for because you might end up getting it. And if West Ham were to, get rid of Moyes, then they would be. It wouldn't be a good thing for the club at all. Which manager could they possibly get who could take them forward? And it's a little bit like a lot of my friends tell me, mate, I understand that you're not a big fan of Arteta, but you've also got to understand if he leaves, do you have anyone who can replace him? And I don't want to get into that debate either with Mason and Ollie in the room, but I will say that again,
I've got my pros and cons on him. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm in between. I'm not in or out.
Yeah, but I mean, here's the thing. Obviously, there are some pros and cons, and I think, Moyes has been with West Ham for quite some time, but he has managed to win European silverware and give West Ham something they haven't had for several years. And for all the talk about how Arsenal is supposedly the bigger club, when was the last time we won any kind of silverware, much less European silverware? I realize that people are going to look at me and say, don't be crass. The Europa League, the European Conference League isn't really much of a trophy. But, you know how we say the beggars and borrowers can't be choosers? When was the last time we actually were able to get something like that? And, West Ham really have to look carefully, to really think carefully about their decisions here. And there might be some people who were saying, don't you think we have the right to demand better standards for West Ham? Of course you do. I'm not saying otherwise. But all I'm saying is look at what you have. Look at what can be improved. If you are in a situation where things are not looking like they will improve, then by all means, get rid of the manager and just try and look for a new one. Because if things do start to get bad, then there will almost certainly be an alternative. It's a bit of a paradox, really. Just when you think things can't get any, when things are going well, things certainly can't get better. But when things are going terribly, there will always be something you have to try and go for. It's a paradox of sorts, but one which explains the situation fairly well, I'd like to think.
Excellent articulated. So, Ollie, let's move on to you, mate. So, what are your thoughts on the situation regarding Moyes? Do you think it will be tough for West Ham to replace him?
Yeah, I think it'd be tough for West Ham to replace him. Yeah.
Do you know? Obviously, with managerial situation, who do you think is the right fit to replace him? Do you think it could be someone within Europe, possibly within the Championship, possibly the Premier League, even?
I'm not quite sure who could replace him there.
Mm-hmm. No worries, mate. No worries, mate.
Yeah.
If you can't think of him, then that's fine. I'll just move on to Mr. B then. So, Mr. B, obviously, with regarding David Moyes' future, do you think it'll be very tough to replace him?
Oh, definitely, yeah. I wouldn't get rid of him in the first place. I think he's done brilliant there. You know, how could they want to get rid of him? He's got him European success. You know, the conference, winning that. So, how can you get rid of a manager like that's got you something, won you something? It's like Gary O'Neill at Bournemouth. He kept them up, and they still got rid of him. That's just bloody mad, you know.
It is.
He's got to stay. Speaking of Gary O'Neill, I wonder if he could get an upgrade to West Ham if he does go. I think he's a great manager, you know. I rate him. So
Good call. He also played for West Ham, I think.
yeah, he played for a few teams, man. So yeah.
When exactly did he play for West Ham? Was it during the late 2000s? Right.
I'll take a look and see, because I obviously remember him from his time with Portsmouth, and I know he joined Middlesbrough after that.
Yeah.
And I remember
played
him
for us as well. Played for Brentford as well. So.
Yeah, very tough, uncompromising midfielder who wasn't short of skill as a player. And he was obviously a part of that Portsmouth team, which was doing really, really well, I would say. And I'm just trying to look him up. This is why we've got Wikipedia. And yes, I'm correct. He, of course, began his career in the youth with Portsmouth, had loan spells at Walsall and Cardiff City, then moved to Middlesbrough for about 4 years, and then joined West Ham United, where he played for 2 seasons before moving to QPR, Norwich City, Bristol City, and ending his career with Bolton Wanderers.
Well, where's Brentford? He did play for us, didn't he? I'm sure he played for us. That should be on there.
Sadly, mate, it's not there. Otherwise, it would have been mentioned. I know Wikipedia gets a lot of crap. Yeah, I know Wikipedia gets a lot of crap for being, not exactly accurate. But when it comes to certain player details, they very rarely get stuff like that wrong, you know?
Oh, right. Yeah.
Oh, that's true. Thank you, Manny. I really appreciate that. And let's move on to the next game. So, Luton versus Crystal Palace, obviously a really crucial win for Luton. That their recent continues.
I called this. I said this.
Starting off with you, Mr. B. What are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I had this, mate. I had 2-1 Luton. So, I knew all along a lot of people were saying no, Palace. It's Palace going to win. All against Luton, but I've got an affinity with the smaller teams, because we are still one, Brentford, and I like the smaller teams, and definitely Luton are one of the best teams that have come up out of those 3, and I think they're going to stay up, and they might be bottom half. I don't think they're going to get in the top 10 or anything, but they're definitely going to be safe, going to be comfortable in the end, I think. So. I was really pleased that they won. So the only thing is they got up. We got to play them next as well. So, but it could be a tough one.
Who knows what's happening in that game? Who knows? Obviously, we're right now that they're very resilient side, very compact, very tough to break down, very compact, very transitional. They've got a really good manager and Rob Edwards, he's coach actually, most likely. And I think if they would stay in Premier League, it will be really crucial for their status long term. Mason, obviously, moving on to you, mate. So, what are your thoughts on this game? Do you think this is a really significant game for Luton from win point of
view? I do indeed. Like, I'm one of the people who I would love to see Luton stay up, but I do think they're going to go down. I really do, and they'll probably we'll probably go there in a couple of weeks' time, wherever long it is, and get absolutely battered by them now because I've said that. But honestly, I do think they will go down, and it's no not credit to that. Nothing against them or anything. Like I said, I like Luton, but I think against I think Palace probably should have won this game, in my opinion. I had Palace to win it, but well done, Luton. And they do need some more points. They definitely need to get on a little roll. And maybe that can start. Maybe if they do get a couple of results going their way, like I said, they could. But in my opinion, I do think they're going to go down, man. I really do.
I mean, who knows? I mean, coming in the season, they can miraculously stay up. Who knows about that?
I would love them to stay up.
Obviously, Ollie.
I would love them to stay up, though. I really would.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely agree with you. I mean, I do hope they do stay up. Absolutely. I mean, if they were to, that'd be great for their actual status, their pedigree, etc. But if they do, that'd be great. Holly, let's move on to you, mate.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I think I predicted a Palace win in this one, so it was a bit of a surprise to me that Luton won the game. But yeah, they won the game. Good on them. I don't know. I have a feeling they might just stay up, Luton. Don't know how, but I think they might just stay up. But yeah, good win for Luton. I predicted a Palace win, so they proved me wrong.
That's really true. Manny, let's go into you, mate. So obviously, with regards to this game, do you think this is a really, really vital game in regards to win for Luton?
Well, I think the reason why I wasn't really confident of predicting a positive Luton result was because I still believe that the Liverpool result was maybe a bit of a fluke in some respects. But they've shown that they are really willing to scrap. And more often than not, Hardeep, when you take a look at these teams that are promoted from the Championship, it's the ones who are willing to really struggle and fight hard more often than not. They're the ones who can show signs of staying up. The biggest problem that Luton have is that they may still be lacking a little bit of quality up front, but the same can be said for Burnley and Sheffield United for sure. But if Luton can sign a top quality striker in January or a good goal scoring winger, you know, and they do score some more goals, I wouldn't be surprised if they start to, you know, get some more results like these. I certainly don't see them beating any of the topmost teams. They certainly won't go to Anfield and pick up all 3 points. I mean, that would be, I mean, to even suggest that might be a little bit crass with all due respect to the Hatters. But they are showing a lot of pluck, and I know that Mason thinks that they may just go down. But you know what? I'm actually willing to think that maybe they'll make it. And I'll tell you what, I feel sad for Everton, but that points deduction will not help them in any way. No, sir.
Right.
That's really, really true. I mean, obviously, we were talking about them afterwards. Let's move on to Carl then. Carl, what are your thoughts on this game? Carl, you still there? No.
Might not be there now.
Yeah, I think he's not actually available right now. I think he's probably just focused on. But yeah, let's move on to the next game, guys. Chelsea were obviously demolished by Newcastle by 4 goals to 1. What an absolutely fun game of football. I can tell that Mason's very, very excited by the result, and obviously he is an Arsenal fan. Let's start with you, Mason. What were your thoughts on this game? Why?
Yeah, the thing is, I had a lot of stick off Chelsea fans when Arsenal got beat there in a few weeks ago, or whatever it was. And I said, to be fair, it was a tough place to go, and it always is a tough place to go. Chelsea fans, what are you saying to me now? 4-1. Come on, man. I can put my hands up and say, you know what? We lost there, but at least we didn't get battered. Like, come on, Chelsea. I thought you guys started. Like, honestly, I thought when Tottenham beat Chelsea, I thought, right, this is it. Poch is going to kick on from this. His players are going to kick on from this. And then to see what they were doing, first of all, James getting sent off. Like, okay, I think his yellow was for kicking the ball away. You're a pro footballer. I know these rules have only just come in where you're going to get booked and that for like kicking the ball away and that. But come on, man, just keep your composure. I know. Like people say, oh, they can't. Some players can't. But look, if you're being told at the beginning of the season you will get booked if you kick that ball away with intent, you will get booked, and then you go and do it, and then you go and get another booking, and then put your team at jeopardy. It's just nonsense. How on earth? He is the captain and Thiago Silva isn't. Like, Thiago Silva must be thinking, what the hell's going on? Like, how am I not captain? Even if Thiago doesn't stay the full time, like for as long as James, but Thiago being captain, he could then take James under his wing, and then it's sort of that, and build him up to be that sort of captain. At the moment, I don't think captains would do that. You'd never see a Roy Keane, a Patrick Vieira, you'd never see them doing that. And after the rules have been changed, maybe back in them days, obviously the rules weren't there, but even now you wouldn't see them sort of players doing that. And I think shame on Chelsea, man. Shame on Chelsea, but I love it.
Absolutely. I mean,
Perfect way to end. To start a nervy Brentford game.
That's going to be really intriguing. Manny, let's go into you, mate. So, what are your thoughts on this game? Give it Chelsea on the crisis at the moment, despite their recent good form?
Oh boy, where do I start? First of all, you are welcome to ridicule me. I had the gall to predict that this would be a 3-2 Chelsea win because I thought that, the way they were starting to get it together, I thought that they were turning a corner. How wrong I was. And Newcastle, even with their injuries, they came out at St. James's Park, and boy, oh boy, did the Magpies feast on those Blues. And you could very well say the sending off did, in fact, hurt Chelsea. But, Thiago also, I think it was interesting how MK mentioned Thiago. He actually was at fault for one of the goals, if memory serves me right. So, one thing I'm going to say right now is that there is still enough about Chelsea for me to say I really like them and I think they will get a little bit better. But as far as securing a place in Europe is concerned, I think unless they can really work on some of their squad issues in January and try and tweak it up a little bit and sell some players and get some players in who would be willing to respond to Poch, then you know what? We're going to see this sort of situation where they go 2 steps forward and then 1 big step back, and it's not helping anyone. But I just think this is this was another awful day in the office for Chelsea, and Poch is going to have to do a lot of work picking through the bones of this. But like Emery, I think Poch is someone who will really start to analyze things a great deal. And the club is still in every way a bit of a mess, but there is no real excuse for some of the way they played. And when Pochettino himself calls the players soft in the way they approach the game, I think that says it all, really.
That's very true. Very true. Ores, absolute pleasure to have you on, bro. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Good to be back here, and yeah, good to see some faces. Good to have you back, Mason, and yeah, big up everyone.
Hey, bro.
Big up. But yeah, Ores, what are your thoughts on this game? Chelsea were obviously decimated by Newcastle. What are your thoughts on this game?
I mean, listen, Adi, us United fans, we cannot talk just yet because we travelled to St. James's Park this weekend. But you know what? Chelsea, man. So that's what happens when you become too giddy, man. Chelsea fans, they're giddy when they beat Spurs. They're like telling me, "Oh, Chelsea are back, Pochettino, this and that." But yeah, man. I mean, Chelsea have a lot of work to do, man. Mudryk and others, Jackson. This is what happens if you're gonna start players like Jackson and stuff. This is what's gonna happen because you need to start playing players that actually deserve to start. But yeah, I just think going to St. James's Park this season is tough, man. It all depends on the mentality for a club to actually get something. But yeah, Chelsea, man. They lost their heads as soon as Newcastle scored the second one. They just heads were dropped. It's like United, man. Whenever we see the first 20 minutes, we drop our heads. So yeah, I mean Chelsea, they're just mid-table crisis, man. Like they're absolutely awful. And you know what? Yeah, funny enough, if they continue like this, it could be peak.
It could be peak. You never know. Obviously, let's move on to Ollie. Ollie, what are your thoughts on this game? If Chelsea are in a really, really bad crisis at the moment?
Yeah, not looking good for Chelsea at the moment. Yeah, good win for Newcastle. I think I predicted 2-1 Newcastle in this game.
Yeah.
That's really true. We actually expect this to be closer, but not of this necessarily. Obviously, Mr. B, what are your thoughts on this game? You must be ecstatic as a Brighton fan.
Yeah. I mean, what is it with Chelsea and conceding 4 goals? They seem to like doing it, don't they? It was against Man City as well. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on with him, but I don't really give a shit, to be honest. I'm glad they lost. But
Are you trying to diss United as well by saying that you beat us by 4 goals? What are you doing there, Mr. B?
Sorry, man. Sorry. My bad. But yeah. But no, I think Newcastle are a really good team. But I don't think they're going to do very well in the Champions League. I think they're going to go out of that somehow. Is it tonight they're playing or tomorrow? I can't remember now.
It's tonight, right?
Tonight, Mr. B, you were on the stream with me and Arnie. We were talking about that.
Yeah, sorry, man. Sorry, Manny. Yeah. Sorry, mate. Yeah, sort of forgot. But yeah, I think they might go out, So I think will they go into the Euros, into the what do you call it, the Europa League thing? Whatever.
Yeah, Europa League.
They finished third.
Yeah. They'll go in Europa League.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they'll join United as well. So
yeah, we're gonna get in those, aren't we?
I don't say nothing about United, to be fair.
Yeah, we'll speak about United afterwards. Carl, are you still there, mate? Where is he? Where the hell is he?
I think he's muted. Kylie,
Yeah.
did Mason talk about Chelsea? I know Mason was talking Chelsea.
I've done my bit, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Kyle, the floor's yours.
Backstage, yeah, leave him in the back.
Right.
No.
Let's move on to the next channel. What an informed game in Premier League football. I mean, it's very, very intriguing football. So obviously, Nottingham Forest lost by go against Brighton Hove Albion. Fantastic result for the Seagulls. Absolutely, really crucial win. Let's start off with Orest. What do you think of this result?
I mean, Brighton had to win this game because obviously their record, before this game, the last time they won was it's crazy that was since October, so they had to win this. I mean, the way the Zerbi celebrate that full time, bloody hell, mate. Just I understand you're trying to show passion, but listen, you acting like it was a Champions League final, so no, listen, I get the celebration, but it is Nottingham Forest, and also they're looking, I think they're considering to evaluate the manager situation. But you know what, Brighton did well with 10 men, so give credit where it's due. But Forest, they didn't take their chances well, and Brighton defended well. This is what happens with Brighton. When you compare Brighton and Man United with 10 men, people will collapse, people will struggle. But with Brighton, at least, they fought hard and they got the 3 points. So credit where it's due. So massive win, to be fair. The Forest Ground Stadium. So yeah, credit to Brighton for this.
Yeah, that's really true. I mean, you could also argue that Forest have got a point decent in the game, but Brighton, they showed great resilience, great character, and a really, really good philosophy to win the game nonetheless. Manny, let's move on to you. What are your thoughts on this entertaining game of football?
I will be brief and say I'm delighted that Brighton won because I predicted the win, but I wasn't expecting it to be 3-2. And this was the win definitely that Brighton needed. And this could very well be a warning sign for Nottingham Forest that if they're not careful and if they don't, ramp up their squad, they could be in trouble. The absence of Awani was always going to be a bit of a problem for them because he has been their big goal threat. And not even the fact that they scored 2 goals should be consolation for them because they ended up losing at the City ground for, how often have they lost? I don't think we can remember. I think they drew against City last season. They beat Liverpool, and of course they beat Arsenal, among other teams last season. So this season, they're going to have to start really looking at themselves as a squad and seeing what can they do better, and they've got to do better. No excuses. And as for Brighton, good recovery from them because they were starting to slip a little bit. And well done to the Seagulls.
That's really, really good analysis, Manny. Really good analysis. Mason, let's move on to you, bro. Obviously, what we thoughts
basically, I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I don't like Brighton. Mope. Obviously, he's now moved.
Oh,
Don't particularly like Forest because they always beat us and they always do us dirty. So I weren't really looking to this. But with Forest, I thought they should have won. I thought they could have won anyway. But Brighton done their thing. I think Oris spoke on it, and it was their first win for a while. So yeah, but still, I hope both of them get relegated. But yeah,
I mean, you never know. You never
Ooh,
know.
boy.
Comes the end of the season.
dream relegation.
That's true. Yeah, Mr. B, how about yourself, then?
Yeah, well, another team I quite like, Forest, another sort of smaller team, if you like, if you say that, they're quite a smaller team, aren't they? Brighton are a good team as well. I really like watching them. But I had Forest to win this, to be honest. But I thought they could have done something at one stage, but obviously Brighton just about had enough again to get through it, and very good players Brighton have got. So. I think they're going to be up there again. Obviously, Brighton, aren't they? Probably, I don't know, top 7 or something, possibly again. So, yeah, I think they do well. I think Forest will stay up though as well. I can see them staying up. Okay, so should be comfortable.
That's very true, mate. Absolutely agree with you. Let's move on to Ollie though. Ollie, how about yourself, mate?
Yeah, I think it was a good result for Brighton. I think I predicted a Brighton win. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's very true, mate. I mean, obviously, with Brighton, considering that they've been really abysmal recently, do you think this is a really positive result for them in preparation for their next coming games?
Yeah, I think it's a good result from you.
Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. Right, Manny, move on to you. You can host this actual remaining games now.
Thank you very much indeed. And of course, this one really shouldn't have come as a bit of a surprise because the confidence that the Cherries gained from that win over Newcastle at Dean Court, I think, has sort of helped them a bit. It might be a little bit too much to suggest that Iriola has now done enough to earn a stay of execution because he will have tougher tests. But from what we're seeing in these last 2 games, the players have now started to respond to his system. They're playing well for him. And full marks to Justin Kluivert for now scoring in the Premiership in addition to the other leagues in which he's played. And maybe they will, move on from this. And the return of senior pros like Neto and Lloyd Kelly can only be a good thing. But they will need to get some of their players back fit. And maybe they will need to buy another strong defender or 2 in the transfer market because their defense could very well be their weak point. As for Sheffield United, it's another poor result for them. I really can't see them staying up, I'm afraid. And I think the Blades have pretty much been blunted. So far from being able to cut the Cherries to pieces, I think the acidity from the Cherries has pretty much, rusted those poor Blades. So I'll go around briefly to every one of you. Hardeep, I don't know if you watched the game, but Sheffield United going down or somehow miraculously staying up?
It could be lesser, they can miraculously stay up, but I think they're most likely going down, unfortunately. If you look at Sheffield United, the way they run, the way they lack philosophy on the Higginbottom, I think it's going to be really tough watch for Sheffield United as well. I think they've got really tough running games coming up. If everyone do want to stay up, they've got to remain consistent, but this loss against Bournemouth just puts the final nail on the coffin for Heckingbottom. I think he's inevitably going to get sacked soon.
It could be the case. And Mr. B, you've been very critical, of course, about Bournemouth's decision to get rid of Gary O'Neill and hire this guy, Iriola, who promised an open style of football. And of course, O'Neill has been impressing for Wolves, and we'll come to Wolves in a minute. But after 2 straight wins now, albeit against opposition that weren't exactly at the races, certainly not in Newcastle's case, do you still think that Bournemouth have started to turn the corner and they should be able to stay up, I'd like to think? What's your view?
Well, Manny, I know you're sort of a secret Bournemouth supporter. We all know that because you keep gassing them up all the time. And I'm not going to get.
There's a reason why I do, but go on.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to get gassed, mate, because I think just after 2 wins, okay, I know they beat Newcastle, but everyone's saying, oh, look, that's an excuse. They were tired, Newcastle. They had injuries and things like that. And they beat Sheffield United now, who are sort of bottom pretty much. almost bottom anyway. So in the Premiership, so that doesn't mean a lot, does it? And I still think they're going to struggle, Bournemouth. I really do. I think they're going to be down near the bottom. They might stay up, possibly, but I think they will be down there. And Sheffield United, definitely, for sure. They're not going to go anywhere. I think they're going to be probably nearly bottom. But I'd like to see them do something. But I thought they might get something out of this. But no, I can't see it happening. I can't see them staying up. So.
Yeah, and Mason, I think you're probably going to agree that Sheffield do look set to go down. What seems to be wrong with the Blades, do you think? Is it a lack of goals? Is it defensive porosity? Or is the midfield just not strong enough? And you think that with some of the Premiership veterans that they do have in their squad, they should be, all the wiser for a campaign like this?
Well, yeah, I will say that they just look so disjointed in every bit, really, everywhere. And to be honest, you got to give Bournemouth a bit of credit, because they have had a hard start, and Gary O'Neill getting sacked was one of the hardest things for a lot of them, actually, because Bournemouth fans, from what I heard from Bournemouth fans, is that they didn't actually want Gary O'Neill to leave. So that obviously frustrated them, and now finally this guy's come in and he's actually getting them down to getting a couple of decent results. Now, I do think Bournemouth will stay up by the skin of their teeth, but as you said, the Blades, I think they're going down, man. I really do. I think they're one of the three that are most definitely going down. And if they make a manager change, who knows?
Down, deeper and down, as status quo would say. And we can talk about status quo all day long. But Orest is back, Marshall is back, and I think we're going to talk to you, Orest, of course, and obviously, I think we can all agree that Sheffield's goose is pretty much cooked. I mean, I know it's harsh to say this very early in the season, but shipping the goals that they've shipped and not being able to get the results they needed, not being able to do very much. They only have one win against Gary O'Neill's Wolves, ironically, but they just look extremely weak. And as for Bournemouth, we've seen them struggle. We've seen them, really unable to get things together. And now with 2 wins, they are still alive. And of course, Everton's points deduction means that they do have a bit of a cushion. But do you share my confidence that Bournemouth should stay up, and not just by the skin of their teeth?
To be honest, I do think Bournemouth will stay up. I think this win is very, very huge for them, for Ireliona and for the team morale as well. So I think if they keep going, take their chances well, I think Bournemouth, because if they start collecting the forms, I think, there's a potential they can stay up. But, if they don't take their chances and they lose games, then I don't think so. But you know what? If they go on the form from now to the, let's say they could generally stay up. So it's about them taking their chances. Yeah, it's about them taking them chances for me. So yeah.
Okay, and Ollie, just finally, very briefly, coming to you, Bournemouth, will they stay up or won't they?
I think Bournemouth will stay up, yeah.
Yeah, but Sheffield United down for the count, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Mason is going to have to leave, so we are, of course, going to come to him first, and just in good time, of course, because
can I leave as well? I want to leave now.
if you want to, Mr. B, you can go.
No,
we'll have to shout you out first. But
no, I'm not leaving. I'm joking, Danny. Yeah, I'm gonna stay around for the punishment, mate. I don't mind.
Yeah, so obviously,
not a lot of punishment I can even give you guys.
Let's hear the habit side.
Yeah. But obviously, we all know how the game went. It was effectively Aaron Ramsdale's farewell to the club in terms of the poor showing he had in the first half. Recovered in the second, but didn't really do enough to convince people. And I don't want to get into the Raya Ramsdale debate because that is something that will take a bit of a longer time. But sadly, I think this could be the end of him. And it is quite sad, but it is what it is. We did struggle a great deal, and Brentford also couldn't finish their dinner. And of course, you know, the substitutions came on and did their bit. And then, you know, after doing barely anything all game, up steps Bukayo Saka with a nice cross sort of assist, and the rest is history. But MK, before you leave, Arsenal with this win, back to the top of the league. But last year, we've been through this before, son. Top almost all the way through, and we all know what happened.
We have
is this
been
season going to be
before.
different? But is it going to be different this time?
Honestly, Manny, at this stage, I can't tell you that. I can't tell you if it's going to be different, if it's not. The performances, not just this one against Brentford, but the performances overall haven't been great. We're looking at Spurs. We drew there, which we drew at home against Spurs, which many things. Jesus gets that goal, possibly, who knows? But in overall, performances just haven't been great for us this season. I don't know whether Mikel's trying something new, and it just hasn't been great. Even though we're sitting at the top of the table, I'm not feeling anything great about it, to be honest with you. And with Brentford, I know it's nice that we've got a Brentford fan on because I can ask him: do you really think that David Raya is actually better than Aaron Ramsdale?
At the moment, that's debatable because, you know, for us, he was superb, Raya.
Yeah.
Didn't hardly make any mistakes, to be honest.
Yeah.
Since I don't know what's happened to him. I don't know, it's just whether it's going to a bigger club. Bit too much for him at the moment, who knows? I mean, I think he will come good, though, and I think he will be your number one. Your proper number one, Ray. I really do.
Yeah, I do. Personally, I do.
He's that good, you know. So
I do think he's really good, but when you're talking about,
I think mistakes, but
yeah, no, I agree with you on that. The one at Seville when he just managed to get it over the bar, that absolutely shocked me. But going on to Ramsdale, I do think that it has made it a lot more pressure. Mikel did not need to put this pressure on Aaron Ramsdale or David Raya. And let's be real, he lied to us fans as Arsenal fans. Mikel has lied to us because he said that they were going to fight for number one. Clearly, Raya is his number one. Clearly, he knew that from the beginning. Let's be real, Ramsdale did not do anything wrong before obviously playing this game. Like, this game has just put him like icing on top of the cake. He is definitely going, but I don't think we're going to sell him in January. I do not believe that we will sell him in January. I think we'll wait until the summer. And quite honestly, I'm disappointed in that. I'm disappointed because I've seen Mikel get rid of Emi Martinez, get rid of Leno, and now he's forcing Aaron Ramsdale pretty much out the door. And let's be real, he made the mistakes, but the pressure was on him, and that's Mikel's fault. I think Mikel has actually put way too much pressure on him and his goalkeepers. Yeah. And as a goalkeeper myself, I don't like that sort of pressure, being put on. And I have to think of it as if I was in Ramsdale's shoes, I'd be fuming right now. And too right he wants out, and I don't believe that he will be at the club at the end come next season. But I'm gutted with that because honestly, I thought we had a real gem. He's English as well, so you got to get that in. Obviously, you need these English players, so-called, or otherwise FFP or whatever will be on you. And realistically, Kai Havertz scores again, 60 million down the drain. Kai Havertz scores again. I couldn't believe it. Manny, I don't know about you, mate, and Ollie, I was rubbing my eyes. I was like this. I was like, what? But at the end of the day, yeah, we didn't play well. But like I said, for West Ham's result, it's getting the points on the board. And we've got the points on the board, lads. But it was more difficult. Maybe if Brentford would have gone 1-0 up from that Ramsdale mistake, then we would have been sitting here looking on it, feeling a little bit red in the face. But in the end, we managed to get the win, and I don't know how we actually managed it, to be honest. But Havertz finally has scored for us, and I'm not going to say it, but thank you, Chelsea.
Yeah, well, I'm not even going to say that because look, I'm not going to go so far to say that I refuse.
Start. Let's be real on
Yeah.
this. I want to see a lot more. I don't think he should start against Lens, I think it is, who we got in the Champions League.
Lens, yes, Lens.
Lens. But I do think if he comes on, he should have the confidence now. He should be really full heights, like literally on top of cloud 9, yeah. But I want to see more from him. This is just the beginning. I think that this hopefully we'll be looking at this in a few months or maybe at the end of the season going, you know what? Well done, Mikel. Give it to you. But right now,
yeah.
I'm not gonna go too much. But
exactly.
The song actually makes sense now, so I'm grateful for that. The song actually makes sense now because it
does make sense.
It makes sense now, so I'm happy.
Yeah. Yeah, and you did say you had to leave, so I will put you on solo and shout you out.
Yeah, man. Obviously.
I know that you're.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, first of all, it's great to have you back on OTF, and I know that AFC Talk Show TV is still trying to get into the back into the swing of things, and obviously, I want to, be a part of that. Continue to be a part of that, and I know that you'll be doing a lot more planning. But tell us more about your channel, what you do have coming up, and where we can find you, son.
Well, you lot on Instagram have been voting for it. I am going to be doing streaming now over on Twitch. It is MK14, so there's no worries there. And I'm hoping to go live soon. EFC, but I'm just going to call it FIFA Career Modes. GTA Roleplay, I was in it last night, even though I didn't record. I have to go in there and do some bits. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, guys. I am really looking forward to it. And hopefully I'll see you guys there. But thank you guys for having me on. It's been an absolute pleasure to come back and make an appearance on YouTube again. I ain't been on YouTube for a few months. But thank you very much for having me, lads. And also, obviously, I'm not going to be able to review the Tottenham or United game. United, Garnacho, well done. Absolute brilliance from you. Ten Hag in. I presume everyone's in now. Everyone's cool. As for Tottenham, I told you guys you'd go Spursy, and it's happened again. It's happened again. Tottenham Hotspurs, it has happened again. But for me, thank you very much, guys. I'm out. See you guys soon.
Cheers, mate. And hope to see you. Hope to see you back again soon. But you take care of yourself and be safe as always.
See you guys soon.
Cheers, bro. See ya.
Yeah, and so Ollie, now to you. Before I say my piece, what did you think of the game? Happy with the result? Happy with anything else?
Yeah, obviously, we got the goal cancelled, which is a bit annoying, but good to get the late goal. Good win for us, yeah.
Okay. Now, obviously, I'm going to say this right now that I'm not one of those people who has been Ramsdale in, and I know that several of you have pretty much can concur with me on that. But I will say that I will concur with MK that the man management of Arteta has definitely left a huge lot to be desired in this case. But if Ramsdale does decide to leave, I will wish him the best, and I hope he will build his career elsewhere and start to display a better attitude and start to work to improve his craft. Until then, I think he's going to have to wait for another opportunity if and when it comes, and just remind people what other clubs what he's capable of, and maybe some other clubs might be willing to take a punt on him at the end of the season. But in January, he's not going. We need to keep him, no matter how dangerous it might be for some other fans, and it is what it is. Hardeep, I'll come to you. I did remember saying, of course, in my earlier monologue about the City-Liverpool game that Arsenal should never even entertain any thoughts of winning the title because City and Liverpool served up an absolute classic. And certainly from the game we saw at the G-Tech, I don't think there was enough that Arsenal offered to really suggest that they will challenge either of those two teams. Yes, we got a lucky win against City, but that may be as good as it gets. But as for the game itself, what did you think of it?
I think overall it was more or less like a smash and grab as well. I mean, obviously with you guys seal the crucial 3 points at the end, courtesy of Kai Havertz's crucial goal. I think ultimately it will actually progress your consistency, and without a doubt, I think with the treatment Ramsdale, I think I actually concur with you and Mason that office's management in regards to Ramsdale has been quite abysmal. Obviously, with having two goalkeepers on Lucas and Rangers competing against each other, that could be the next factor to the harmony of the squad from a tactical point of view, but maybe whether it be a technical vision as well. I think ultimately, from an Arsenal point of view, it's a really positive result, and I think if you guys want to actually win the title, you should be winning significant games like this, whether that be Brentford, Newcastle, or possibly someone else within the top 6 or top 8. Your mentality has to be to win every single game, not capitulate if you want to actually win the Premier League title. If you guys want to compete, you've got to be consistent. You've got to have a defined style of play, and also a national number 9 as well. I think with Nketiah, he's not actually excelling on really well on Arteta. I think you need a better focus on number 9, i.e., Ivan Toney, Ian Ferguson, or potentially Victor Osimhen. If you get that profile player, you'll be galvanised into a really great side, and ultimately, this actual result just takes some workload off Arteta. So ultimately, it's really important that you do become much more consistent and not capitulate.
Agreed. And I will be one of those people who will say that if I never see Eddie Nketiah at the club again, it will be too soon. It could very well be that he stays until the end, and then if at the end we don't achieve our targets, we will end up selling him and maybe getting someone better. The selfishness that he showed in trying to go for goal rather than pass it to a teammate in the second half when he had the chance to, I think it sums him up really. And Orest, you're welcome to make fun of us if you like. You had a more convincing victory than we did. What do you say?
Yeah, I mean, as obviously Deep said, smash and grab, man. Smash and grab win. But at the end of the day, in the Premier League match, the 3 points is most important. But, you know, if you guys want to win the Premier League, we need to see a style of play from Arteta. We need to see you guys playing. I mean, for me, I'm not that bothered about team playing fluid football from every single minute, but we need to see an identity. I know it's ironic for me to say that, but for me, if Arsenal are genuine about this title thing, then they can't bottle this. The mentality has to be up, you know, and you know, no players can hide now. Like, don't go anywhere. Like, don't go anywhere. Any Arsenal players do not go anywhere, mate, because you know when the toughen gets toughened, if that makes sense. When the big things come big, they bottle. So, you know, they can't hide now. It's about the mentality now. It's about from Arteta how he's gonna set this up, because this is a big season. Like, I'm hearing that if he doesn't win this league, he has to go. So, and that should be the thing now. If he does not win this league, he must go. And you know, there's managers that you can guys get. Obviously, Jabi Alonso, one that's talked about the most. So, yeah, I mean, for me, Arteta has to do something. He has to win a silverware for you guys. But you know, we know this fan base. You know, when they get knocked down the if they got they'll say bigger fish to fry. So we know how this fan base is like. So yeah.
Okay, now we'll probably just briefly touch on Fulham against Wolves, and I think it's fair to say that this
you didn't come to me, Manny. By the way, you didn't come to me.
Well, the reason why I didn't want to come to you is because obviously I think you did have a bit of your say with MK, and I know that I don't want to rub it in, but what do you think went wrong with your team, and do you need another striker? Would you like to see Tony back?
Yeah, well, of course I do. I mean, look, he was glaring, mate. He was lacking Tony there. If he was there, he would have finished them. He would have buried them, mate, them chances. So, you know, and then, you know, we would have won the game. But I think we nullified you. We controlled you for pretty much the whole game almost, you know. You ran out of ideas. I mean, if we could only finish, you know, we had somebody to finish things, it would have been a different story. And ultimately, we were beaten by a bloody frigging German giraffe. How embarrassing, you know. You know, useless German giraffe. How the hell does that happen, you know? And I'm sorry, but it is. It is, man. I'm telling you, you know, I'm being honest there. And
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate your honesty, and listen, you're speaking for quite a few Arsenal fans who still cannot stand him. But anyway, we will move on, and I don't want to upset you anymore. Fulham against Wolves,
I'm not
obviously
upset, man.
Another unfortunate result for I will come to the Villa and United games, I promise you. And we're going to be brief with this one, I promise. But obviously, Fulham and Wolves, it was the Monday night game at the Cottage, and Fulham somehow finding a way to win, albeit through some very controversial decisions, including the last-minute penalty converted by Willian, who, of course, preceded Havertz at Arsenal as our donkey Marquez signing. And you know, we've been waxing you, Mr. B, I will come to you, and I'll be brief with the others, because you've been waxing lyrical about O'Neill, and of course he obviously has some reason to feel very aggrieved by the VAR decisions. He might receive another apology, but it won't really help him very much. You obviously were reporting on the game, as it were, for the Instagram chat. How did you see it, and did you think that Wolves were unlucky again, or did Fulham deserve the 3 points in a way?
Yeah, I thought Wolves were unlucky, but I mean, I think I see Fulham do more than they have been doing lately. You know, I think there was more in the game this time, and had more chances and more in the game. But I think Wolves were great again. I really do, and I thought Gary O'Neill was brilliant yet again. You know what he was doing there. I think they were robbed as well. To be honest, very unlucky to get their penalties given against them and all that. So. I think they're going to be up there. They're going to be at least probably mid-table, maybe Wolves. You know, I think they're that good. So, but a good win for Fulham. They needed it. So.
Exactly, because Fulham were behind Wolves in the table, and had Wolves won, they would have actually finished the week in 10th place in the top half of the table. So that would have been an excellent start for Gary O'Neill. But I suppose a school of thought says that with every single defeat, it's an opportunity for Wolves to, fight harder, because let's not remember, beware the wounded Wolves. And of course, Hardeep, this is, of course, your local team. I'm sure you might have a soft spot for them. Do you sympathise a lot with Gary O'Neill?
Yes, absolutely, without a doubt. I think with the VR situation or the controversy around the officiating in relation to the use of VR, it's absolutely abysmal if you look at it from an officiating point of view. What on earth are the PM Joel doing? It's absolutely abysmal. It's absolutely shambolic as well. If you look at the standard of officiating, compare it to European football, of course. European football, whether that be in La Liga, Serie A, it's much more efficient in comparison to the Premier League. This is why the FA and even the Premier League bodies need to actually reserve this immediately. They need to address this and sack these counter referees. They do not know the importance of the game as well, and they are destroying the game by adding additional time, significant additional time, which is absolutely not actually acceptable, but actually not necessarily acceptable, but in a way inefficient. I think in a way it's leading to more players getting more injuries, more fatigue, more chance of getting burnt out as well. And it's really important that the well cared players, it's really crucial. And if it isn't managed, it will be detrimental to their seasons individually, even as a team. Ultimately, if we do get better referees, I think we would see better decisions regarding VAR. And with these decisions, they need to be consistent, they need to be correct. And this is why the fans need to communicate with the fans. Well, no fans, sorry, with referees. Yeah, if they do communicate with the referees, then there'll be an outcome on the decisions regarding the officiating and also the decisions regarding VAR. Ultimately, I think with Wolves, it was a very poor result. They should have got a draw at least, but Fulham showed great resilience under Marcus Silva to gain the 3 points. Despite the controversy around the penalty, especially the last penalty as well, I think Fulham, they dived in certain aspects of the game, and for them to not be put for simulation, it's just shambolic, absolutely shambolic, and I do sympathise with Gary O'Neill.
Yeah, but like I said, beware the wounded wolves. When you wound them, they come back even more dangerous. So do not ever mess with them. Orest, I think I'll come to you. Obviously, we've spoken about Wolves, but Fulham, the biggest fear for them was that with Mitrovic having gone, goals would be hard to come by, and yet somehow they've managed to find goals, albeit not through necessarily their strikers. Jimenez started, of course, against his former club and wasn't really effective, but it had to be, some of the midfielders who got it. Do you think Fulham now have a way to score goals, or will they still need a striker in January?
I mean, I do think, Fulham, they do need to get a striker. Because if we're being honest, if Willian is carrying that team, then that tells you it really. So I do think Fulham, because, yes, they have Iwobi as well, but Iwobi has to create service. And, if we're being honest, they haven't replaced Rich, so they need to go get a striker who is clinical, who can get them goals, and can potentially win the matches, but not rely on the wingers. But for Wolves, I mean, a manager said this after Newcastle. A wise manager said, "It is a disgrace." So Arteta, big up Arteta, man. But listen, these VAR officials, man, like.
No, but one thing I will say is
Go on.
that Arteta deserves a lot of credit for being restrained. He never said it was a disgrace, and that's why Arteta's facing an FA charge and O'Neill isn't. But we'll see what happens. And Oris, did you want to say something else before I go to Ollie?
Yeah, I was just saying, like, it's funny how, like, these Premier League managers, they're getting fined. We saw Pochettino, like, he got angry at full time. What was it? Against the C match. He got booked again from the referee because he was annoyed. And then, for me, I don't agree with managers getting fined, pulling out the referees for me. I think that's stupid. I think that's stupid logic or stupid law. But for me, referees, I've said it before, this will never happen, but I think for post-match interviews, referees should come out and speak for themselves. Interviewer asks the referee questions, they answer it, and analyze what happened in this VR situation, what happened in this situation. But you know what? This is theoretically speaking, because this is never happening. But for me, I just think it would be way better if Premier League referees come out after the game and then give their thoughts on why this foul was not given, this foul was, and yeah, because it'll be nice. It'll be very interesting to see. So yeah, but no, big up to Mr. B, by the way. But yeah.
So always. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, man, about that. Obviously, with regards to the officiating as well, do you think from an officiating point of view that the Premier League should definitely recruit much more competent European referees instead of English referees?
I'm seeing that Howard Webb, apparently he's appointing like 13 ex-footballers now, so I don't know what's going on in that to referee. So for me, I don't know what the hell's going on. For me, I've always said VAR is not the problem; it's the people that PR and control these situations. Right? For me, Sean Dyche was right. I think a manager said that we all know what happens when the referee goes to the monitor. They always overturn their decisions, right? Let's say, one prime example is the Everton Man United game, right? Referee thought Martial dived, went to monitor and overturned it. So we all know, managers know, even the football players know, the fans know as well. Everyone knows what happens as soon as the referees go to the monitor screen. So for me, something better needs to happen. They need to clear out officials that control VAR and appoint someone better. But they won't do it. Listen, we know the VAR. We know the FA, sorry. So, we've been asking the FA to flipping get rid of Southgate for crying out loud. So they will never appoint. It's not even FA. It's just the PGML. So yeah, it'll be corrupt as always. And I stand by. We'll talk about Everton later, but yeah. But yeah, Ollie can have to say now.
Ollie, go ahead.
Yeah, good win for Fulham. Obviously, Willian getting 2 penalties. And then, but I think I predicted a Wolves winning this one. Which didn't expect Fulham to win this one, but they did, and I do think they need a striker as well, maybe. But at Fulham, but yeah, good win for Fulham.
Yeah. Okay, now our final 2 games, of course, were both played on the Sunday. Spurs against Aston Villa. And obviously going for the Spurs point of view first, they will have some reasons to feel a little bit hard done by because, the the thing about Aston Villa is that when you play the high line as regularly as Emery does, and these were two teams who, of course, enjoy playing the high line, it either works a treat or sometimes it can come an absolute cropper. And Tottenham having 3 of their goals for Heung-min Son disallowed for offside, a hat-trick. I've seen Son score a hat-trick of goals. I've never seen him score a hat-trick of offside goals, so that's a first. And it just goes to show that had they studied the system a little bit better, maybe they would have known how to sort of crack the high line. But credit to Emery and his defenders for being able to work it when it mattered. Breathtaking goal from Gio Lo Celso, a deflection off Diego Carlos's thigh. And of course, there was another piece of controversy with, a bad tackle by Matthew Cash on Rodrigo Bentancur. But Bentancur, thankfully, is not seriously injured. It's just an ankle bruise. He'll be out for... he's not even going to be out. He just needs a bit of rest, and he'll be back better than ever. And Cash, of course, had to be hooked off at halftime alongside Moussa Diaby. But then Villa, they kept going and going and going, and they ended up somehow breaking Spurs' resolve. Another home defeat to go with their loss to Chelsea. Hardly, I'm going to start with you. No, actually, Ollie, I will start with you on this one, because as an Arsenal fan, you should be happy with Tottenham losing, and of course the ex-Tottenham manager and goalkeeper winning on Tottenham's home ground.
Yeah, I am happy. Good result for Aston Villa. Martinez did well, got 6 saves in that game, so he did well. But yeah, obviously Spurs went 1-0 up, but Aston Villa came back, so yeah, good win for Aston Villa.
Right. Now, Orest, I think I'll come to you first on this, because, anyone being offside 3 times, as many times as Son has, it's not really a good look. And obviously, there was no controversy with the linesman's decisions. Even Aston Villa had a goal disallowed for offside. What would have been a fine equaliser from Ollie Watkins was disallowed, with the England striker being adjudged to be marginally off. But then, of course, Pau Torres scoring that equaliser deep into stoppage time at the end of the first half. But what is it about the high line that really made it so difficult for Son to crack it? And what do you think strikers have to do? What do you think Postecoglou has to try and do? Because he loves playing the high line himself. Why couldn't he get his strikers to be more attentive to that high line of Villa's?
Thing is, with Highline, I think Ange said after the game, like, even if he has 6 players on the field, he will always keep the same system. He's that type of manager to never ever change his style, change the high press. But he's gonna have to at some point, because you can't just keep the high line at every single game. He's gonna have to change at one game. Listen, we get to that. You are strict, but you're not the Australian Jose Mourinho, mate. So you need to, change it a bit, mate. So, but no, listen, Son, I just think he was a bit unlucky there, man. 3 offside goals, very, very unlucky for him. But he's like Rashford. You need to know which positions to go into correctly. Like, look behind you, look in front of you, check if you're in the right position, and then hopefully it doesn't get overturned. But you know what, Son, I used to know that I used to know Son getting hat-trick of goals, not proper goals, but now, as Manny said, hat-trick of offside goals. So next time, I think Son has to be careful and make sure he's in the right position. And Bentancur now out until February, so I understand. Listen, for me, sending an abuse to Matty Cash is not going to do anything. Like, we just have to grow up. They're just footballers. They're normal human beings at this day. But yeah, I do get the frustration.
Sorry, go ahead, Orest.
Yeah, I was about to say, I do get the frustration with Spurs fans, because Bentancur back from injury and now he's back for a while. But sending abuse is not the right answer. But yeah, go on, Matty.
I agree, but so maybe it was a misdiagnosis, because I did read on Twitter that he was only going to be just asked to rest for the weekend, and it looks as though he could be out. We're getting conflicting reports over here, but if he is out for quite some time,
February, he was back in February, so yeah.
So that is a pretty long time because we're in November now, 3 months. It is sad, definitely, but it is what it is. And Hardy, finally, of course, this is of course a Birmingham team, probably rivals for your own local team, I'd like to think. And of course, Aston Villa in that first half were being run absolutely ragged. Brian Hill in particular was, cooking Matty Cash and Ezri Konsa on that left flank and really causing a great deal of problems. And the defense somehow had to be at their best to try to stop them. And it took an absolute worldie from Gio Lo Celso to, finally beat his Argentinian teammate. But Aston Villa, after getting that equalised, I think they started to recover a little bit. What do you think Emery did tactically that shifted the balance in favour of the Villains?
I think obviously, if you look at the first half as well, that their high line was some massive negative problems, especially in how they transition from going on the back into the attack. Ultimately, I think with regards to Villa's shape, they started to become much more compact in the second half. Quite reactive in possession, quite reactive on the counter attack, and ultimately they became much more physical in midfield as well. If you look at Douglas Luiz, John McGinn, they actually operated really well in midfield. Considering the fact that the likes of Bentancur as well, Højbjerg to a certain degree, possibly maybe Kulusevski and also Brian Gill, who were actually being introverted or introverted in the midfield. Ultimately, I think with Villa's point of view, they were really aggressive, and ultimately they didn't necessarily show any urgency in the first half. Ultimately, I think they showed great mentality to actually win the game, thanks to obviously one person, Emil Martinez, 6 saves in the game overall. I think he's a fantastic goalkeeper, without a doubt, one of the best goalkeepers in the world. And I think with Villa right now, they're on a great progression. Ultimately, with Unai Emery, he's a fantastic manager, but he needs to actually develop a really good shape, especially our possession, become much more compact, very aggressive, and also much more progressive in following third. I think with Ollie Watkins as well, he's actually one of the best strikers in the world as well. So with Villa, is there a title potentially a possibility? You never know.
Look, I will have the last word on that and say that they will need to continue to improve their away form and get more wins like this in order to stand the chance of competing for the title or even the top European honours. And they will need to improve their bench depth. But if they can do that in January, they're halfway there. But this is my last word, and I have to say this. And Orest, you know what I said. 6 saves for Martinez, but the pick of those saves was the 2 saves in quick succession to deny Brennan Johnson and Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. I don't care if he hasn't kept too many clean sheets. As far as I'm concerned, if you want to have a goalkeeper who you can depend on to pull off a save when it is needed the most, there is no greater or better clutch goalkeeper in the world right now than Damian Emiliano Martinez Romero. And although he conceded a goal, which is an unlucky deflection, you will never, ever see him rip Diego Carlos a new one for costing him another clean sheet. He's had 4 clean sheets denied to bad luck. But look, he loves Aston Villa. He loves seeing them win, seeing him celebrate, leaping in the air and leading the celebrations. That is what being a leader is all about. And Orest, I know you had to minimize that window. I do apologize. But finally, we come to the last one. A 3-0 win for Manchester United. Better performance from Andre Onana with a good save in what was, I believe, the second half, I think. And don't go there, son. Don't even think about it. And, of course, that goal from Garnacho, which was an absolute carbon copy of Rooney's effort against Manchester City. Both of those strikers scoring against the then England number 1s at the time. The same technique, the same area. And all I can say was that match was worth watching for that goal alone. And of course, in the corresponding fixture last year, Cristiano Ronaldo came on as a substitute and scored one of the goals as Manchester United won. But this time around, there's no Ronaldo. It's a new team. And we've got Mr. B, who had to leave the chat, but I will shout you out. Garnacho's worldie was supposedly better than Rooney. Up for debate, and that's a debate that can go for a very long time. But Orest, United fan, how pleased are you? Ten Hag in?
Listen, I've always been to know again, man. But Hardik, don't worry. Let's get the Zerbi. Let's get Ancelotti. Everything will be better. Surely, Hardik, everything will be fine if we get those two in. But listen, Mitchell van der Gaag, big up to you, by the way. Big up to Mitchell van der Gaag. But yeah, man, look, Garnacho's goal. There is a bit of context with his goal and Rooney's goal. You know, Rooney's goal was the winner against City and stuff. There is context for me, but my personal opinion is if we're talking about the technique, it has to be Garnacho's one. But no, look, we played well. You know, people want to talk about how we don't play fluid football every single minute. I don't care, mate. If we win, we win. So, Kobe Mainu, listen, this guy, we need to protect him. I'm not going to carry the away, but we need to protect this guy because I know a lot of fans, they get carried away. That when he puts in a bad performance, they abuse the guy. So I'm not going to get carried away, but listen, he's had a fantastic debut at such a hostile atmosphere. Obviously, it was very, very hot. For me, I'm with the Everton fans with the Premier League corrupt. I think they gave it to the Man United fans as well. So listen, it is what it is, but Marshall, I think Hardip's got his name as well. Is it Marshall? I apologize. Woo, Hardeep, what's going on?
I didn't intentionally write that down.
But yeah, no, listen. Obviously Marshall scored, and yeah, no, look, I'm not gonna get carried away. For me, we've got two big games: Galatasaray away, Newcastle away. If we win both of those games out, then I will start to get, I will start to like this team, but I'm not going to carry the away because we know these players, they're down to managers. So for me, tomorrow night, 5:45, I'll be there. We need to win. No draw.
Yeah, you need to win. And of course, with Newcastle taking the lead at the Parc des Princes, it will not be an easy game. But that's probably going to sort of make the mouth water. And of course, with Galatasaray, your Champions League ambitions are on the line. Hardeep, I will come to you for the final word. But Ole, just briefly, I want to ask you something. With the news that Everton have been docked 10 points, of course, for all of those things that have happened, I wonder, do you think that possibly might have deflated them a bit? Because you take a look at a performance like this, you would think that they would have been up to try and make something of it and try and show the fans what they were made of, and yet they ended up going down 3-0. I wonder if you think maybe the decision has hurt them in a way, and maybe they just feel deflated as such.
Yeah, I think the decision maybe they felt a bit annoyed about it, so might have affected their performance.
Yeah. And obviously, even with Dominic Calvert-Lewin back, they weren't able to score. But Hardeep, finally, with you, of course, you started it, and so you shall finish it, dear sir. You obviously would have been quite happy to have seen the performances of martial law ruling again. And also another player who made his comeback was the England left-back Luke Shaw, who hopefully, if he is able to maintain his fitness, might just force his way back into Gareth Southgate's plans. Because let me tell you something, Southgate still doesn't have a settled left back with the likes of Trippier and Tomori and Colville being tried. How important will his return be for United and England? And how do you think he performed on the day? And do you think that, do you have some confidence now that maybe you can turn the corner?
First and foremost, obviously with Luke Shaw, he put in a really good performance. Obviously, if you look at his spell at United, he's been on the club for nearly over 10 years or so. Ultimately, he's been quite consistent, but ultimately, with regards to his performance, he has been very, very good for us recently as well. Prior to his injury, and also when he's back, obviously he is right back now. I think he did really well, especially with helping us with regards to balance on the left-hand side. We like the natural left back, considering if you look at the likes of Delo, Reguilon, playing there, make left back situation, or maybe position himself. Ultimately, we like that consistency and quality. I think Luke Shaw coming back, it will give us big boost. But from a psychological point of view, I do be wary of what he can actually do from a defensive point of view. I think when it comes to consistency, he needs to be consistent, and if he wants to become arguably the best left back in the world, he has to deliver on a consistent basis from a mentality and physicality and technicality point of view. You can name it, because football is a really, really complicated sport. It might be simple nonetheless, but with Luke Shaw, he has to continue this great form, otherwise he won't be part of the Euro squad. If he is part of the Euro squad for Gareth Southgate's plans, it'll be really crucial for our actual fight of potentially regaining the European Championship trophy again. I think with United right now, we're on an upward trajectory. With Martial as well, should boost his confidence. Obviously, with the system as well, considering our lack of creativity for number 9, whether that be Hoyland, possibly Martial, they need that service. We need to be drilled. We need to be compact as a unit, and we need to be a bit more efficient in the final third and have the mentality to create for our strikers. If we don't have that, that's going to be detrimental to our season. So, if we were to beat Galatasaray tomorrow, we've got to be physical, we've got to be compact, and we've got to be really aware of how hostile the ground really is. Obviously, with Galatasaray, they're not necessarily going to be an easy test, but for us, it's going to be really huge.
They've been terrible at home, in the Champions League. People are not talking about that. They obviously lost to Bayern. They drew to Copenhagen, so they haven't won yet. But obviously, I'll probably jinx that now. But they've not looked well. We can hit them I'm not saying we should play hoofball, but there are some areas. Obviously, I think Davinson Sanchez is out for them. Even though I think he had a good game against us. So, I don't know if it's positive or negative, but atmosphere. Listen, we can't just let it affect us. We just have to do our business, get the job done, get the win, create chances, whether Hoyland starts or not, create service, and hopefully we win. I'm just happy that Rashford's not playing, by the way. So yeah.
No, he's spending as well.
Yeah, and of course, final word, Andre Onana. Good game against Everton. He's going into the pressure cooker that is the Ataturk Stadium. Do you think he'll rise to the occasion?
Of course.
Yes.
He done it before, man. Before, he's got experience, not like Martinez. But yeah, Onana, I'm expecting a big performance from him tomorrow. So yeah.
Onana, what a game indeed. And of course, on that note, we will, of course, end the stream. I want to thank everyone who came on. Sorry that Mr. B had to leave without us shouting him out, but do catch him on Mr. B Hive of Football chat and catch him at B's Fans Forever on Instagram. Really good fella, great content, and he's obviously improving his content on YouTube and trying to offer a lot more. And hopefully you can all join him and help support him in any way you can. Mr. Sinclair, we will start with you, son. Shout yourself out. Where can we find you, and what do you have coming up later on?
You can find me, DJ Sinclair, on YouTube, and you can also catch me on Ollie.Sinclair556 on Instagram and Davio Fanpage 1 on Instagram.
Very good. Thank you for joining in, son. Always happy to have you on. And I will shout myself out first because out of respect for my fellow co-hosts, they come after me, saving the best for the very end. Catch me here on Norris Talks Football, Hannah's Coach Corner, also on Del Boy Gunner TV. I was on the Southern Gooner quite recently, and also Football United with Anthony Herbert. Big shout out as well to Tony Claude Gunner TV, Danny AFC TV, Up the Cherries in all departments. Big up to Northside LDN and Eugen Spurs Asia TV and several other channels, which I've been on in the past but can't really name right now. Always happy to come on and talk football, also host streams whenever I can, even if I can be a bit gobby at times. I do apologize. The one thing which I always insist on is that we treat each other the way we like to be treated and be respectful, because if we can't if we can't agree to disagree without being disagreeable, there's no point in having a discussion. So let's keep it respectful and avoid all banter and snide. Catch me on Instagram and Threads at MannyThangatherai1981, my full name and my year of birth. You just saw my Twitter, and my ID is Thangatherai1981, which is my surname and my year of birth. Enjoy the rest of your week. Enjoy the Champions League football. Enjoy City getting spanked at home and Newcastle pulling the Parisians' pants down, as it were. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy the rest of your week. Don't do anything that myself, my co-hosts, and our panelists and our chat wouldn't do. Thanks as well to everyone who contributed in the chat, by the way, and making this video and our channel what they are. And for now, I'm not out yet. I've got to introduce my other co-host, the man who started it all tonight, Mr. Dadwell. Where can we find you, good sir?
Well, guys, you can also catch me on Always Talks Football, where I'm usually hosting really crucial Premier League streams, whether that be reviews, previews, or maybe filling in for Ores. I'm always here, likewise with my co-hosts, whether that be Manny, Waleed, Elliot. Fortunately, Hannah is not here as well, so they normally be here. They contribute really well, and ultimately the founder himself, Oris. So if you do want to find me on social media, you can find me at HHC United Stand on Instagram, all lowercase, unless if you do want to follow me personally, it's
What's
HHC as well, so all lowercase as well. You can also catch me on Twitter at #WMFC, all lowercase, where there's just all things Manchester United, delve into the latest takeover situation, the players, the actual coverage regarding the club, or potentially news, and also things outside football as well. To add, I'd like to actually touch on something really significant as well. Mental health is really important for all of us collectively as a community, and it's really imperative that we do prioritise ourselves from a psychological point of view. If you're ever struggling, just communicate with either myself, Manny, Ores, the rest of the co-hosts, or even the members of the Ores Talks Football community. No one should be going through a bad day. You shouldn't be lacking self-confidence, self-esteem, self-motivation, etc. We're all human. Don't allow that to define who you are. Always have the confidence, speak up. And all of you who are actually going through bad or good times, you have a great future ahead. So continue believing yourself, continue pushing. And also with regards to All Talks Football, we're approaching towards 500 subscribers on YouTube. Please share the channel in socials, and we will get a lot of interaction or exposure, or possibly much more awareness in regards to what we're actually doing as a channel. And we have potential to become one of the best channels in the world, or potentially commercially on YouTube. So big up to the panelists tonight, big up to the co-hosts, big up to all the Talks Football community, and don't do anything that we would do. Good on.
And finally, the main man himself, Orest. Tell us more about your the channel, about yourself, and what have we got coming up as a channel?
Yeah, first of all, big up the panel as always for covering me. But it's not about just covering me, It's about having hosting, it's about hosting streams, good experience for some of you guys. So yeah, it's not about just covering for us. It's about for us football. It's about being a co-host. So yeah, big up you guys, big up the co-hosts, big up obviously Ollie, Mr. B. It's good to see Mason back as well. So yeah, regarding to the channel, obviously we've got some stuff. We recently just brought back the OMX HD show. Regarding for this week, we should have this Thursday, 8 p.m. we will have Newcastle versus Man United preview with Louis on. I think Hard Deep as well, if I'm correct. So yeah,
Yes, I should be free.
Yeah, do keep an eye out this week. I think we will have lots of stream this week, so do keep an eye out. So follow our socials: Instagram, Orange Football, YouTube, Orange Football, Twitter, Orange Footy, where you could see some tweets from co-hosts, and obviously I'm very active on there. So yeah, we're going to YouTube. You know what to do, guys. The target 500 subs before Christmas. Christmas coming up soon, so we are trying our best to to provide you guys the best content, and also make sure the subscribers are going up. So yeah, like this video if you haven't already. Share this around. Follow us on socials. Follow the calls as well. And yeah, man, big up all of you. Big up for hosting tonight, Hard Deep.
That's a pleasure. And also, Ores and Manny, I'd like to add something as well. With regards to the community, we're doing exceptionally well as well. We're actually covering the right content that we desire. And if we wouldn't reach our potential, it would be due to one thing really. The amazing community we built, and we do want to maintain that. Also, keep your eyes peeled in around that December period. Ores and I, we could potentially meet up in London. That's going to be a great meet up for probably for around a certain period of time, preferably now. So, but you'll be really excited, guys.
Depends where you want to meet up, Hardy. Any Nando's, any.
We'll discuss about it afterwards. But yeah, fair enough, man.
Yeah, listen, big
Go
up.
well.
Big up, and obviously, I've seen Manny, some gym videos. Big up the stuff, Manny. Keep up the work, man.
Dedication's key.
I try, as always. But There's nothing much else to say, and all I can say is thanks once again to everyone. It is time to end this stream. It's been about an hour, 45 minutes. Sorry it went too long, but when we talk about the issues, we just go on. First half about to get over in all of the Champions League games. We will, of course, be sitting down for the second half. But thanks a lot to all of those who joined in once. Yeah, thanks a lot to all of those who joined in once again and who've stayed, if any of you. And we will catch you once again later on in the week. But for now, we are out.